All right. Welcome to another weekly conversation. And this week I want to do something slightly different. Last year at a time like now, we had just lost the election. In fact, a couple of days ago, last year at a time like now, a couple of days ago last year is when I called my team, approximately 200-300 people, after the elections, and basically told them, look guys, we have lost the election. We are considering many things. At that time we were considering whether we were going to do a petition. We had things we had noted and many things. It was the time when I wrapped up one chapter of my life, which was as a member of parliament for Nyeri Town, and moved into another chapter of my life, which was as a former member of parliament of Nyeri Town. Now, it's 12 months since that period. And it has been 12 very, very interesting months for me. First, I have learned how to sell chai and mandazi, So I hustle, do various hustles, which enabled me to interact with people, especially the people of Nyeri, because we set up Rware Central in Nyeri. I do a bit of farming, smoke kidogo goats, kidogo ngombes, doing onions, just small scale. And it's been an amazing experience because I'm not sure I would have done some of those things if I had gone back into office. And in that process, I have learned many things. I have had surprises over the last 12 months, and I have had disappointments. Things that have disappointed me that I did not expect them to go that way. Things that have surprised me because, again, I did not expect them to go that way. And I just want to share a bit of that. That particular learning curve for the last 12 months. Let me start with the things that I have learned. 3 key things that I have learned. 1, when you are a member of parliament or any elected office, first and foremost, you are a representative of the people who elected you, even before you become their leader. To become a representative means you must understand what they expect, who they are, and represent that forward. That is a mistake some of us made when we thought we could lead people from what they wanted to be, right? So the first thing I learned is you represent the people who elect you more than you lead them. You represent their wants, their desires, their fears, their aspirations, and their expectations, right? Second thing that I learned, it's important to listen. In the midst of having soup and tea with various people from Nyeri, leaders, various categories and demographics, I've had a chance to learn many things. But the one thing I keep hearing, Mheshimiwa, we loved you. Tunakupenda sana Mheshimiwa, lakini ulikataa kutusikiza. And I always ask, what is it that you wanted to tell me? They tell me, you are fighting somebody we loved and you are not listening to us. So I'm like, okay. So we were trying to show you another side of this guys. They're like, no, us, we wanted that person. We wanted William Ruto, you are fighting us. But some ladies told me that was our heart and you are touching our heart. Listen. That is another lesson I have learned for the last 12 months. Listen to the people around you, create avenues and networks to listen. The third thing I learned, Raila Odinga will never get support in Mount Kenya. I say that and it sounds like a personal thing, but when I think about the amount of work that we did, 1, led by a president from the region, 2, led by his political soldiers, foot soldiers, some of them, because there was a split from the region, 3rd, galvanizing the system, the administration, the part that was with him. I am now convinced when I look vis-a-vis Raila's age, his political direction, Mount Kenya will never support him. And I think that is something that has been said many times. My personal experience over the last 12 months has been that Mount Kenya will not support him. And I also use my own experience. The minute I stopped associating myself with him, the acceptability back into the society we come from in the region tells you that the problem that our region has with that man is deep. And the politics will not change. The lessons I have learned over the last 12 months. The things that have impressed me over the last 12 months. 1, President Ruto has impressed me. Of course, being part of the people who spent 4 years just beating up on him, we didn't spend too much time looking at his strengths, you know. I know we've always worked. I was even on record saying he's razor sharp. He is sharp. But then other things you notice by default, how hard he works. Ruto tends to outwork everybody around him. You heard him the other day talking to his ministers and telling them, I can't be knowing more than you know. When you think about the discipline he takes into his job, that has impressed me. Does he have a plan? You can tell. He's very clear-headed. He's not the kind of person you're going to scare away. When the finance bill came up, it faced a lot of hostility. He stuck to his guns. You know, housing fund. He's been able to explain and articulate the issues. The idea of we are going to have to absorb much more taxes. We're going to have to be self-sufficient. We're going to reduce a culture of borrowing money. When you listen to him, whether you agree with him or not, you know that he's very clear with where he wants to go. He has a plan. He didn't fall into his job. He knows what he's doing, or he has an idea of what he is doing. That has impressed me. Second thing that has impressed me, Deputy President Rigathi. Again, we spent so much time beating up on him, making fun of him, and creating jokes about him. In 12 months, Rigathi Gachagua has stepped up and into the shoes of a deputy president in a way that I could not have believed. There's no doubt in the fact that you don't have to like him, but there's no doubt in the fact that he's a deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Again, something he's done in 12 months, that has impressed me. The third thing that has impressed me, when you look at the structure of the Kenya Kwanza government and how they are operating, in the circumstances in which they are operating, where we had drought, where we had a very high cost of living, fuel, everything was going crazy, that we are 12 months down the road and people have settled down. Things are starting to come down. I always make fun. When I was running, I was called Kameko. Kameko has come down. The gas has come down. The Meko gas has come down. The cost of Meko gas has come down. And not just the cost of Meko gas. You can actually see subtly things are coming down. We've had a good harvest, so very, very rapidly you can be sure you're going to see Unga coming down. And this is in 12 months. So I get the feeling that the resistance and the challenges and the difficulties that we were facing as a nation economically are going to start picking down, which is going to be good for this government. And you can tell they are going to try and maximize it. I am now seeing a lot more exposure from the government functionaries, the CSs, the PSs. You see them out there talking to people again. That's something they were challenged by the president. So that's something else that has impressed me. The final thing that has impressed me has to do with our devolution. And this is outside the current government. 8 years. We're celebrating 8 years since we set up a new structure of government that we never expected. Devolution, county governments, governors, deputy governors, CECs. 8 years later, we actually have something that is working. Again, you don't have to like it, but you have to agree that there are parts of this country that have changed fundamentally since county governments came into place. From the moment you have many semi-autonomous governments, they're actually not semi-autonomous. They're very dependent on national government. But you have a structure that is focused only on that county and in developing that county and doing things that benefit the people who stay in that county. This is something that we have done and done very well. And it's something we should be very proud of as Kenyans, because we changed our system of governance and we adapted to it and adjusted to it and fit into it. And it is working. And that is something we should all be very, very proud of. The politics of that and the economy and the development of it has come together and mashed together into something that is working for the people of Kenya. Brilliant. Over the last 12 months, of course, I've also had my own disappointments. I think I've been on record, and I can say this again. One of the things that has disappointed me is our former president and my former party leader, I don't know, it's not former yet, because I'm still in Jubilee, Uhuru Kenyatta. Once we lost the elections, there are certain things that I've expected him to do, and other things I didn't expect him to do. I didn't expect him to get back into politics. I expected him to walk away from it. Now he has, right? A couple of months, within the last month, he has left politics and he's left the country on holiday. I wish he had done this last year, immediately after the elections were done, after he handed over power. Some of the embarrassment and some of the things and the attacks that have gone against him most probably would have been avoided. And that, for me, is a disappointment, because we have created whatever we did is on record, and it's going to be a historical thing that can be done again, and we should never have reached there. I think once a president leaves office, I think as a matter of courtesy, he most probably wants to get out of politics and political engagement, even if they see the other person doing something wrong. If they can't reach out to them directly, we should get away from public space for a year, 2 years, so that we have a continuum and we maintain the respect of the office of the president and the office of the former president. The other thing that has disappointed me to some extent, my former coalition Azimio, they've just completely refused to accept the reality that we lost the election. I listened to Raila attacking the US ambassador, Meg Whitman, and I asked myself, what is he talking about? What she said has been said by so many people. But that she said it in the devolution conference, Raila took it as an attack, a political attack, and just lost it and went up against her. This is a person who represents the only superpower, or one of the only superpowers we have in the country, in the world. This is a lady who must have the position of the country when she was saying what she did. So essentially, it just looked like Raila was trying to bully her. You know, she has put a position that has been made by the AU, by the EU, by the American government officially, by the IEBC of the country, by the Supreme Court, right? And by over half of the country. And then you attack somebody from another country who says it, and you attack them merely on a personal basis. That's just an example of how our coalition has completely refused to move on. I look at my SG, Kioni, and the positions he takes and the utterances he makes. Just a guy who's refused to accept that our side lost. And the problem about refusing to accept that our side lost is that you don't adjust. You continue complaining and whining for 4 years, and then the elections are here again and you're not ready for them. And that is a problem I have, and that's something I'm really considering, because that is not going to work for where we are going. The third thing and the final thing that I'm disappointed about, of course, is our party, Jubilee. The internal fights within the party. You've got on one end the EALA Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, Sabina Shege. The other end you have Kioni, Murathe and Co. That internal fight is not helping our party at all. And to a large extent, it's like a death knell on that party. 1 year down the road, 4 years to an election, I do not see Jubilee being able to restructure itself, to rejig itself, to be a formidable party in 2027. And that is very sad. And it's just, we lost track, we lost focus. And that thing of refusing to accept, one half of our party refused to accept that the elections were done, got carried away by Azimio, and here we are. The lessons have learned. So what do we do about all these lessons? First, we will continue. I have taken a position that we only have one government at a time. It's already 1 year down, 4 years to go before we go back to an exam room to decide whether this government is doing a good job. I've said I'm impressed by the fact that they are trying to meet the needs, not the wants, of the Kenyan people. I think every responsible citizen has a responsibility to want to do everything to make this government work and be able to deliver to us what we expect from a government. Peace, security, an environment that enables us to be able to conduct business and sustain ourselves. That's what we're looking for from the Kenya Kwanza government. So far, they're trying to do everything they can to deliver, and I would suggest we keep pushing them on that one. Let's keep learning. I want to keep learning. I'm going to keep observing the political environment. I'm going to continue having this conversation. It's amazing. From when we started these conversations, these weekly conversations in December, the amount of growth and understanding and exposure, my thoughts have gone into the public, and the thoughts, feedback I'm getting from the public, and how far we have come. I'm very, very impressed about that. We will keep growing, and of course we'll keep 1 year down. Now, those who needed to heal have healed. So politics is back into play. Everybody is doing, whether you're running for MCA, or you're running for MP, or you're running for governor, or women rep, or senator, or president. I suspect you're going to start seeing people, machinani, showing up for events. That's where we are. So let's keep watching. I really appreciate the 6,200 and close to 300 people who have subscribed to this channel over the last 6 months. Thank you so much. I want to ask as many people as possible to join so that we can have this conversation and I can get your feedback. I actually read your feedback and I try to adapt it and use it for the shows I make. And when you're in Nyeri town, as usual, please pass by Ruare Central. Soup, chai, mandazi, pilau, nyama choma, accommodation, conference facilities. We are here to serve, just as we were when we were in political office. As we look forward to the next 12 months and the lessons that we will learn over the next 12 months. God bless you. God bless Kenya.